Hey there gamers, DreamcastGuy here, and today we have to talk about the console wars, because yesterday a very strange statement came out from a big upcoming game. The people that made Ori and the Blind Forest, they're currently working on this project called No Rest for the Wicked. Now, this is currently in Steam Early Access. This is actually my gameplay of it. I've played about 25 hours of it. It's basically like a top-down Dark Souls. It's slow, it's got heavy combat, it's very, very fun. But when they launched this in Early Access, the developers were very clear that the point of this Early Access was to raise funds, to make more modes, to flesh out the campaign, and to port it to consoles. But now they're saying, we're not going to put this on Xbox because there's no point. Games don't sell on Xbox. Nobody cares about the Xbox. Nobody hypes up the Xbox. At this point, if you port a game to Nintendo Switch 2, it's going to sell. If you put it on PlayStation 5 or the PlayStation 5 Pro, it's going to sell 10 times more ever than you could possibly hope to get on Xbox. And a lot of people are pissed about this. A lot of people are actually calling him a liar for saying that it's just really not profitable to put stuff on Xbox unless you're getting that like Game Pass paycheck. But let me break down his statements and a lot of the anger, because I even pulled up some like fanboy tweets. People are saying that they're going to like basically boycott the game if they don't prioritize it on Xbox. Let's talk. Hi, hope you're having a great day, and if you could please give this video a like and subscribe if you haven't already. Now, I do want to quickly say that anybody who's just trying to claim this game as a cash grab or not a big deal, you've never tried it. The game is actually really, really fun. I noticed that Fextra Life, as scummy and crappy as they are, they listed it as like one of their most hyped games of the year. The game is undeniably very, very fun. I especially really like the idea of this like colorful art and sort of like very Ori style color palette, but with dark, messed up, very Cthulhu-esque monsters. But here it is. They said, we must prioritize the PS5 development because it really just makes the most sense. We want to support consoles, and looking at the numbers, PS5 just makes the most sense at the moment. Now, this is what he said initially, and you can't deny this. There is just way, 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 way more PS5s than there's ever going to be Xboxes. And I think we all know that, right? Right now, PlayStation 5 is the biggest console on the planet. Nintendo Switch 2 is probably going to pass it at some point, but right now, obviously, the PlayStation 5 is way out in the lead. Something says, so like, roughly the numbers right now, I think, is for every one Xbox that sells, 5 PS5 sell, which still absolutely bonkers numbers. But his full statement is that a lot of people are claiming, oh, you're manipulating us. People have said that they're just trying to threaten Xbox or they're trying to get a payout. This is their reply to a lot of their stuff. This is not a shakedown, it's common sense. Porting to Xbox means you have to port it to not just the Xbox Series X, but also the Series S, and that'll take more time to optimize compared to the amount of work it takes to put it on the PlayStation 5 and the PS5 Pro. We'll first support the platform that has the most users purely out of resource reasons. It's just common sense with us having to make the right moves given the resources we have. Now, to keep in mind, this is a smaller independent studio. They are pretty big. The Ori and the Blind Forest people used to be part of Microsoft. Their company is called Moon Studios. They've left. It seems like, for whatever reason, working with Microsoft really kind of sucked, and they were like, and they found a way to basically break their contract to officially, legally separate themselves and become an independent studio. And when you're independent, it means that your failures, your success, your sales, it's a lot more crucial to your longevity. So I don't even really blame them for sort of doing that math and saying, okay, it'll cost what, $500,000 is what I've heard some people kick around, $500,000 to make a good port of our game onto PlayStation 5 or Xbox. Are we even going to make that $500,000 back on Xbox? So I understand them saying, let's start with PlayStation, and if it sells really, really good, then we'll invest our personal money to put it on Xbox. Or maybe if Microsoft wants to give us that Game Pass paycheck, maybe it'll be worth it then. Now, I wanted to take a look at this. This is Jez Corden over at Windows Central. This guy, I mean, it's hard to say he's an Xbox fanboy. I would say he's a professional Xbox fanboy. Meaning that, I don't mean that detrimentally, but his job is to cover Xbox news. I mean, he works for Windows Central, and he's also a guy that does a lot of leaks and stuff, and he's definitely trying to be neutral in his tone here. But he basically talks about the fact that this is still just kind of the vibe of current day Xbox, which is that you got to realize that when you're that far behind, nobody's going to prioritize putting stuff on your system if it's really not profitable or even really going to make more hype for it, right? Look at this. This take is cynical as hell. If it does end up coming to Xbox, at what point do we start to question whether or not this stuff is done intentionally to manufacture hype and discussion for a game that otherwise wouldn't have got of it? I don't think it's that cynical. This is interesting, is that a lot of Xbox fanboys, whenever a game doesn't come to Xbox, there's this very strange narrative of people pretending the Xbox isn't profitable. Despite the fact that we have public sales data, games just don't sell on Xbox. And I feel like in a lot of ways, Xbox has accidentally shot themselves in their own foot, which is that they have put so many AAA games, big games, day one games on Game Pass and a ton of indies on Game Pass that now it's kind of trained people not to buy games on Xbox. Because people go, okay, it'll come to Game Pass eventually, or even if it doesn't, it's kind of the thing of, okay, why buy it on Xbox if I can buy it on PlayStation and it looks better there, or buy it on PC where it looks better there? Why support Xbox if it's not just the worst platform, but in a lot of ways, it's just really not worth it to spend money when I could just get it on Game Pass someday, hopefully, right? So this saying like, look, it's not manipulation. They're not trying to trick you. They're being dead set. We're not putting it on there because it's just not worth it. Why exactly do they think that PS5 makes the most sense? There's a whole article about it. Console isn't selling and Game Pass is not growing. What else do you need? Oh man, look at that. I love it. So people really tried to pick apart. People are mad about this. Xbox News for Koreans here says, is he saying that market conditions might change if he talks to Microsoft? I could only take that to mean that it wants that Xbox port money or Game Pass entry from Microsoft. I mean, I don't even blame them. I mean, if I'm putting some on there, at this point, I would probably talk to Microsoft and say, hey, is it even worth it? Are you willing to pay for this port? Are you willing to put up your cash? Because even if it doesn't go to Game Pass, maybe they just talk to them and say, hey, Sony right now, we know officially, they have talked about the fact that Sony will send their own independent developers, their own team of like tech engineers and stuff to help games run best on PS5. And clearly it's working. A lot of third-party stuff, they'll actually send their own developers and say, hey, we have people that will help make sure it's fully optimized and it looks crazy on the PS5 Pro and stuff. It's worth it to them. I kind of wonder if they're talking to Microsoft and said, can you send Xbox devs? Can you do the port? I mean, we're willing to put it on Xbox. We're not, disadvantaged. We're not hating on the Xbox. We're just saying that that's a lot of work to do for free, that we're probably just going to lose that money. You do the port, right? I wanted to end with this tweet here where this is a thing I've actually seen a lot of people talking about, which is that people are saying, if you do not prioritize the Xbox, if you put it on PS5 first and it comes to Xbox later, I'm absolutely not going to support it. It's simply not good enough as far as I'm concerned. I will not be supporting any studio that skips Xbox to prioritize PS5 or Switch. I'll spend my money on studios that release games day one and don't treat the platform that I'm stuck with as an afterthought. Entitlement much. It costs a ton of resources to make a full console port, and as I've said, ultimately it will be on all platforms, but it'll take some time. Moon is all about quality above all else. If we do something, we want to make sure to do it right. This is the strange sort of vibe I get from a lot of Xbox fans, which is like a depressed anger. I do think there are a lot of people that bought the Xbox Series X because of the potential, the promise. Hey, we know we're getting Halo Infinite and a new Fable and a new crazy Gears of War and a new Forza. They bought it because of the promise. That's the way all next gen works. If you buy a PS5, it's not just, hey, here's the idea of a PS5. It's, hey, here's the potential of a PS5. Here's all the games that will exist someday. And I think that when it comes to PS5 and Xbox, this generation in general has been kind of depressing. Very, very few crazy good first-party games. But with Xbox, the promise has utterly collapsed. Starfield sucked. Hellblade sucked. I mean, it's just been an absolutely abysmal generation for Xbox. It's clearly just killed the brand forever. But at this point, it does feel like the Xbox fans, instead of turning against Xbox, are turning against anybody that questions God Phil Spencer. I don't know. These have been some off-the-cuff thoughts. Do you think this is as bad of a sign as it seems like a lot of the industry is taking it? Is it a bad sign that at this point people are comfortably, publicly just saying that Xbox is bottom priority at best? Or do you not really care? Tell me your thoughts in the comments down below. And if you enjoyed this video, be sure to give it a like, subscribe if you haven't already, and please keep dreaming. Thanks so much for watching that video. If you want to see something else, you can always click this link to see what I put up last, or, subscribe and see what's coming up next. Also, I promise that whatever I do, it'll try not to suck.